Hello, grade 12. This is Karuna. Welcome to CBSE English Enthusiast. I'm sure you all have been preparing, working hard for all your lessons. Let's just shine through our classes and make it to the other side. On that note, let's start with today's class. It's the poem by Robert Frost, A Roadside Stand. 2 pages, lot of difficult lines, lot of keywords. There are many literary devices, so we work through it line by line, and then I'll try to make you understand of all the keywords that there are. All right, so we start with Robert Frost's poem, A Roadside Stand. Before that, what is a roadside stand? This is probably how it looks. It's just an imagined an informal structure at the side of the road. It's an informal structure, a small structure at the side of the road that sells its produce, that sells its small little items to people who pass by the highway or the road. So, probably this is how it looks like. It's a roadside stand selling the produce in the countryside to the people who pass by. So now what happens is in the roadside stand, the tone is mostly pessimistic. It's sad. The poet empathizes, sympathizes with the people who work at the roadside stand, who are hopeful for people to stop at their place and buy something, and hence the money transfers from the rich people to the poor. However, he doesn't see that happening and he gets all sad. So that's the basic idea of the poem, wherein the poet wants to say that these people who have set up a roadside stand, they are hopeful that people from the city would stop. Since they are rich, affluent people, they would stop, they would buy their produce, and hence the money would transfer to the people who have set up these roadside stand, who are poor, impoverished. So, but then that's not what it happens. So the tone in the entire poem is pessimistic. It's a hopelessness at times, wherein they do not know, especially towards the end when the poet finds himself struggling with the idea of what is to be done, and I wish something could happen so that at one go they are out of their pain, or if somebody could relieve me out of my pain, because he totally feels what is happening to these people. All right, now, just a small again picture of a representation of how a roadside stand would look. Of course, with the owner in place, intact also. Uh, okay, so let's just read the poem line by line, and then we come to the basic ideas. It's going to take a little longer than the other poem, since the poem has it's long. The length is quite a tad bit, and then there are important keywords as well. So, Roadside Stand by Robert Frost. The little old house was out with the little new shed in front at the edge of the road where the traffic sped. So, little old house, how did this place look like? It's like a little old house, something like this. A little old house was out with a little new shed. So, this is the shed, this is the house, and in front of so it says the little old house was out with a little new shed in front at the edge of the road. It's set at the edge of the road where the traffic sped. The people, rich people, people who are affluent, who have cars, they are speeding by. A roadside stand that too pathetically pled. Pathetically pled, purpose sound, it becomes alliteration. Pathetically pled again becomes your also personification, because the a roadside stand is pleading. Now, what is it pleading for? It would not be fair to say for a dole of bread. It's not pleading for a piece of bread. They are not begging for food. What is it that they want? But for some money, the cash whose flow supports. They want some inflow of cash. However, again, inflow of cash is through purchase. They are not directly wanting money. So they want an inflow of cash, but for some money, the cash whose flow supports, the flow of cash supports, what does it support? The flower of the cities, the business of the cities from sinking and withering. So the flower of, the flow of the flow of the cash that happens in the city, it supports business. It does not let it does not let the business get demolished or withered or sunk. So that's what the idea is, that they want not food. They are not begging for food. They want some money. How will that money help? It will help them with cash. That cash, that same cash that supports the business in the cities, that's the cash that they are looking for. The polished traffic passed with a mind ahead. Now again, polished traffic passed with a mind ahead. They are least bothered about these people. They are passing by with their own intentions, indulged in their own selves. They are self-centered people, so they pass with a mind ahead. Or if aside a moment, then out of sorts. Or if at all they stop, then they are out of sorts. Meaning what? They are annoyed. What are they annoyed at? At having the landscape marred with the artless paint. So they are annoyed at the people who have, set up their roadside stand, who have, artistically painted things. They are annoyed at the fact that these people have, they have demolished, they have, they destructed the beauty of by their artless paint. They are with their sad paintings they are put up with the n with of signs that with the n turned wrong and s turned wrong. So these people, if at all, firstly, they do not stop. If at all they stop to complain that these people have set up paintings that are not artistic, they are artless, they have N signs and S signs that is turned wrong. Offered for sale wild berries in wooden quads. So what are they offering? They are again offering berries. I have a picture of these berries in the wooden containers. So they are offering berries in wooden containers, or crook neck squash with a silver watch. So what is a squash? This you see, this is these are berries, this is a squash, these are berries. So how they sell is in the wooden containers they sell berries, or crook necked, the neck of this thing, this is crook neck, the bent neck is what they're talking about. So they are selling produce, berries in wooden containers and crook neck squash, correct. So or beauty rest in beautiful mountain scene. And they have also probably painted, set up paintings having the beautiful scene. You have the money, but if you want to be mean, why keep your money and go along? So now these people are complaining that although you have money, you want to be mean and you don't want that money, the inflow of money, they are complaining in a complaining zone wherein they're complaining to these people that they don't want to help us with money, and then they just want to be mean. This crossly, these people, meaning these people, they are cross, they are angry at these rich affluent people who keep the money, and they do not believe in helping uh, the people around. The hurt to the scenery wouldn't be my complaint. My is who here? My is the poet. He says it's the hurt to the scenery wouldn't be my complaint. It's not my complaint. The damage that they might have done to the scenery, so much as the trusting sorrow of what is unsaid. Trusting sorrow, oxymoron. These people, they trust the rich people to help them, but then it comes that trust backfires. It's a sorrowful trust of what is unsaid. Here, far from the city, we make our roadside stand. So these people, they from far from the city, they have set up their stand. They want to sell their produce. They want to, they want to, benefit from the hard work that they have put in by helping these produce and setting it all up, and ask for some money to feel in hand. So what is it that they're looking for? Not for money, begging money, but then with the help of, these people buying their produce would help that money come in hand, to try if it will not make our being expand. So they ask for that city money to feel at hand, and see, if it is benefiting to their people, and give us a life of the moving pictures promise that the party in power is said to have been keeping from us. So, with the help of this money, they want to see if the kinship expands, the people they benefit, and they want to see if they could afford that lifestyle that's shown in pictures, the television to them. And that the party in power is said to have, the party, the politicians, the bureaucrats, they promise, the packaging of their promises are so shiny, but then they are all hollow inside. So they वो कहते हैं कि all these people in power, they promise that they would help these people, उनकी मदद करेंगे, but then they do not benefit from it. So अभी तक हमने क्या पढ़ा? We talked about where this thing is located, the roadside stand. It is located at the side, at the edge of the road. New shed, house तो old है, with new shed to attract the customers. Now what do they want? They उनको ये नहीं चाहिए कि उनको, they do not want food. उनको food नहीं चाहिए. They want these people, the money, inflow of money. वो money कैसे आएगा? When these rich people, they stop, they buy their produce, वो money उनके पास आएगा. But these people in the cars, the traffic that speeds by, the traffic sped, the traffic that speeds by, उनमें ऐसे लोग हैं जिनको इन लोगों से कोई मतलब नहीं है. They do not stop, they do not buy their produce. अगर वो रुकते भी हैं तो only to complain. They get annoyed, out of sorts. They only stop to complain कि इन लोगों ने with their kind of setup, with their kind of N और S के wrong sign से इन्होंने ये scenic beauty खराब कर रखा है. So then they also say that, you have the money, but if you want to be mean, ये लोग कहते हैं कि you do have the luxury, you do have the authority to help other people, you are in power to help other people, but then agar if you want to be mean, so how, then they do not know what to do. So then they get angry. This crossly within brackets, meaning the people who have these roadside stands, they are angry at the kind of attitude that these rich people have. एंड देन द पोएट सेज कि ये जो डैमेज है सीनरी का जो इन लोगों ने अपने रोड साइड स्टैंड से सेट किया है, ये मेरा कंप्लेन नहीं है. माय कंप्लेन इज कि ये लोग जो ट्रस्ट करते हैं ऑन दीज रिच पीपल, दे रिलाई देयर ट्रस्ट, दे इन्वेस्ट देयर ट्रस्ट कि ये रुकेंगे, उनके प्रोड्यूस खरीदेंगे, पर ऐसा होता नहीं है. बट दीज पीपल आर स्टिल होपफुल कि कोई तो रुकेगा और वो मनी उनके पास आएगा. एंड देन दे सी दैट दे वांट टू सी इफ दे बेनिफिट आउट ऑफ दैट मनी, इफ दे कैन अफोर्ड दैट. जो मूवीज में दिखाते हैं, जो स्क्रीन्स पे दिखाते हैं, उस टाइप की लाइफ उनको कभी मिलेगी नहीं मिलेगी. बिकॉज जो पीपल, जो ब्यूरोक्रेट्स, जो पॉलिटिशियंस, जो पावरफुल पीपल हैं, वो हमेशा दे काम, दे प्रॉमिस, बट ये फुलफिल नहीं हो पाता. It is in the news that all these pitiful kin, all these sad people, people of the countryside, pitiful kin, किसके reference में है? All these people who have set up the roadside stand. ऐसा news में है. They are to be bought out and mercifully gathered in to live in a village next to the theater and the store. ऐसा news में है कि इन सब लोगों को they are to be collected and set up in a village where there is theater and store. तो ऐसा न्यूज में कि इनको ऐसी जगह पे सेट करेंगे जहां पे थिएटर हो और स्टोर हो, वेयर दे वोंट हैव टू थिंक फॉर देमसेल्व्स एनीमोर, जहां इन लोगों को अपने बारे में इतनी सोचने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. while greedy good doers, beneficent beasts of prey. Greedy good doers, beneficent beasts, hyperbole, beneficent beasts of prey, again exaggeration. beneficent beasts, ये politicians जो हैं, जो people in power है, जो authority है. greedy good doers, greedy good, alliteration. ये ऑक्सीमोरॉन भी है, ग्रीडी, गुड डूअर्स. ये दो अलग अलग वर्ड्स यूज हो रहे हैं. ग्रीडी और गुड डूअर्स साथ साथ नहीं जाते, मीनिंग टू इम्प्लाई दैट दे आर नॉट गुड पीपल. पीपल इन पावर आर नॉट गुड पीपल, दे आर बेनिफिशिएंट बीस्ट ऑफ प्रे. अगेन दो अलग अलग वर्ड है. बेनिफिशिएंट, they are helping, but they are not helping, they are beasts of prey. They prey on these people, they try to extract benefit from these people. So swarm over their lives enforcing benefits. ये सारे लोग इकट्ठा होके they promise benefits, इतने पैकेजिंग, इतनी सुंदर पैकेजिंग में अपने promises बताते हैं इनको, that are calculated to suit them out of their wits. तो ये जो पैकेजिंग है इनकी promises की, ये करेक्ट नहीं है. It is only for their purpose, it is to suit their purpose. And by teaching them how to sleep, they sleep all day. Destroy their sleeping at night the ancient way. So by teaching them how to sleep, they sleep all day. And इन झूठे वादों के साथ, they because they know कि हमको ही फायदा होने वाला है, people in power को फायदा होने वाला है, तो then they are very relaxed के by teaching them, by promising them, by giving them fake promises, these people sleep all day. एंड इन लोगों की रातों की नींद उड़ाते हैं. destroy their sleeping at night the ancient way. So like from the old times, how पावर एंड पावरलेस का जो कॉन्ट्रास्ट है वो पहले से ही चला आ रहा है. दिस इज नॉट न्यू. हाउ द पावरफुल पीपल, दे मैनिपुलेट They take advantage of people's misery and then they manipulate to suit their way. This is what they do. Sometimes I feel myself, I can hardly bear the thought of so much childish longing in vain. तो ये आई कौन है? ये पोएट है. ये क्या कह रहे हैं कि समटाइम्स मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि इट्स डिफिकल्ट फॉर मी टू बेयर देयर पेन. ये जो लोग हैं जो रोड साइड स्टैंड जिन्होंने सेट किया है, इनके ये इनकी जो इनकी जो तकलीफ है वो मुझसे नहीं देखी जा रही है. द सैडनेस दैट लर्क्स नियर द ओपन विंडो देयर, सैडनेस लर्क्स परसिस्ट. तो ये जो बिकॉज दे आर कॉन्स्टेंटली स्टैंडिंग देयर वेटिंग फॉर कार्स टू स्टॉप, तो ये जो तकलीफ है ये पोइट से देखी नहीं जा रही है. दैट वेट्स ऑल डे इन ऑलमोस्ट ओपन प्रेयर. सो दीज पीपल दे वेट प्रेइंग कि कोई तो आए, somebody should come and stop and buy their product. For the squeal of brakes, the sound of stopping car. What are they praying for? They are praying for squeal of brakes. Squeal जब ब्रेक लगेगी मतलब गाड़ी रुकेगी, मतलब these people will come out and buy their product. So they wait for squeal of brakes, the sound of stopping car, of all the thousand selfish cars, transferred epithet और personification दोनों ही correct होगा. Selfish cars मतलब ये जो लोग हैं उसमें वो है selfish, not the cars. Selfish cars is also personification. तो इतने जो thousand selfish cars that pass by just want to inquire what the farmers prices are. अब ये देखो, एक कोई गाड़ी रुकती है तो क्यों रुकती है? टू इंक्वायर व्हाट फार्मर्स प्राइसेस. एक इनको चाहिए कि कोई तो रुके और inquire करे कि why what are the prices for the produce that they are selling. Just want to inquire what farmers prices are, and one did stop but only to plow up grass. तो एक गाड़ी रुकी भी but only to damage the grass. क्यों? In using the yard to back and turn around. वो आगे आ गई, गलत रास्ते पे आ गई, so they wanted to take a turn. So this is one. And another to ask the way where it was bound. तो दूसरी गाड़ी क्यों रुकी? पहले तो ये रुकी कि to plow up grass, वो गलत रास्ते पे आ गई. To take a turn, that did stop. These people are literally praying, waiting for कि एक गाड़ी रुक जाए, but of all the thousand cars that pass, एक भी नहीं रुकती है. एक कई कभी रुक गई तो to take a turn, not to ask them their produce, and another to ask the where it was, the way it was bound. So the second one is क्यों रुकी? क्योंकि उसको पूछना था कि आगे का रास्ता, where the road was headed, where they probably would be on some destination. तो रास्ता पूछने के लिए रुके. And another to ask could they sell it a gallon of gas alliteration. So तीसरी गाड़ी क्यों रुकी? To ask them अगर उनके पास gas like commodity है, because they are out of gas, so if they could sell the gas to them. Now they couldn't. This crossly, they had none. Didn't it see? This crossly, again the villagers are cross. They are angry. कि अगर if we had that luxury of selling gas, then why would we sell berries? उनका ये है कि अगर हमारे पास वो commodity रहती, which that if they had that commodity to sell, so this would not be it. No, in country money, the country scale of gain. इन कंट्री मनी, नाउ कंट्री मनी कॉन्ट्रास्ट है. कंट्री मनी जो है दिस और जो सिटी मनी है, देयर इज अ ऑब्वियसली अ डिफरेंस. कंट्री मनी जो पैसा इन लोगों को मिल रहा है, इट्स नॉट सफिशिएंट. द कंट्री स्केल ऑफ गेन, देयर इज नो गेन. The requisite lift of spirit has never been found. तो ना ही उनको पैसा मिल रहा है, ना ही कोई गेन हो रहा है. So then their lift of spirit, the motivation is absolutely missing. The path to grow is absolutely bleak. तो उनको पता नहीं क्या करना है, where they have to go. Or so the voice of the country seems to complain. What are they complaining of? What is it that the voice of the country people are complaining? They complain that they do not have money. They are poor. I can't help owning the great relief it would be to put these people at one stroke out of their pain. So he says that I would be, absolutely so happy कि एक बार में अगर कोई आए और एक बार में इनकी तकलीफ दूर हो जाए, it would be so much good. And then the next day, as I come back into the scene, now he also realizes that ये जो उसकी wish है, it's absolutely that wish is not correct. So then next day, as I come back into the scene, if the day that I come back into the real world, I wonder how I should like you to come to me and offer to put me gently out of my pain. So he says because वो तो practical नहीं है, but I wish that somebody comes and releases and lets me out of my pain. उनका तो कोई दुख दूर नहीं कर पा रहा, but because I'm so sad looking at their misery, that I wish that somebody could come and help me, put me out of my pain. So that's the whole idea, that these people, they come, promise, that promises are not, those promises are not kept. They live in village. They said that these people have promised to set them up in a village beside the theater, beside the store, but ye jo hai, they are greedy good doers. Oxymoron, beneficent beasts of prey. Berber alliteration भी है. Berber आपका beneficent beasts of prey, oxymoronic word भी है. दो अलग अलग ideas, opposite ideas use हो रहे हैं. So they are just around their lives, they enforce benefits, ये बस promises करते हैं, those promises are never to be kept. However, he feels sad कि ये जो लोग हैं जो अपने roadside stand के beside those windows, they keep waiting for somebody to stop and buy their produce. I feel immensely sad for them. So he says कि कभी कई कोई गाड़ी out of those thousand vehicles, one stops, so but one stops to take a turn probably, another stops to to ask the direction, maybe a third stops to just ask if they had gallon of gas. And because these people get so furious कि अगर हमारे पास वो commodity होती, so why would we be at the roadside stand selling this? So he says that there's no country money, there's no gain, there's no profit, and hence they are absolutely demotivated. There's no lift of spirit. The required lift of spirit is not found because of, obviously, they do not have money. They are, their producers are not selling. So then the poet says that I wish that something could happen and these people are out of their pain. And then he realizes that because that's not a possibility, so I wish somebody could put me out of my pain. Now let's look ahead of the other ideas. Part one, the poem begins. One second. The poem begins by describing a small roadside stand built by poor rural people. It is positioned near a fast moving highway, hoping to attract city travelers. New shed, new old house, new shed to attract city travelers. The owners of the stand, they do not beg for charity but hope to earn money from the passing vehicles. The contrast between rural people and urban prosperity is highlighted. The stand's crude appearance with poorly painted signs and misspelled letters irritate city travelers. They are out of sorts, I told you. They are out of sorts कि ये इन लोगों ने ऐसे कैसे wrong signs or wrong beauty जो है इसकी they have completely destroyed. Items for sale include wild berries, golden squash, and offers of the rest in the scenic countryside. इसके कीवर्ड्स क्या है? रोड साइड स्टैंड. अब देखो, मैंने आई हैव सेग्रीगेटेड द कीवर्ड्स दैट्स यूज्ड फॉर द विलेज पीपल एंड द कंट्री अर्बन सिटी ड्वेलर्स. कंट्री पीपल एंड द सिटी ड्वेलर्स. रोड साइड स्टैंड, अब कीवर्ड्स जो फॉर द पुअर पीपल दैट हैव बीन यूज्ड, दे हैव अ रोड साइड स्टैंड. देयर rustic wooden shed, dirt road, hand painted signs, crooked letters and an S turned wrong, wild berries in wooden quads, crook neck golden squash, weary farmers, hopeful yet helpless. Polished traffic, high rise buildings, smooth highways, neon billboards, perfect typography, packaged supermarket goods, gourmet dining, busy professionals, indifferent travelers. Although इसमें से कहीं mention नहीं है, I mean that's the contrast कि इनका difference क्या है to tell you. Squeal of brakes, city people. Ab dekho ab, this picture shows the stark contrast. On one side you have these the countryside, this is the city side, so the difference that exists here. Squeal of brakes, speeding cars, disappointment, luxury, and affluence is for them. Waiting in open prayer, they wait in an open prayer, moving ahead with no concern. Country money, इधर क्या है, इकोनॉमिक डोमिनेंस, चाइल्डिश लॉन्गिंग जो है वो, दे वेट लाइक अ चाइल्ड, चाइल्डिश लॉन्गिंग, दे हैव दिस लॉन्गिंग लाइक अ चाइल्ड, वो बच्चों को, दे हैव दैट लॉन्गिंग. So that kind of longing. Material satisfaction, government neglect, they are politically powerful people, struggle for survival, they have lavish lifestyle, false promises, social privilege. Now, keywords of the items that sold. First is wild berries in wooden quarts, crook neck golden squash, squash with silver warts, homegrown produce, fresh farm vegetables, fruits in rustic basket, handmade goods. Uh, आप देखो इनकी क्या है इच्छा, that they want to be set somewhere where the moving pictures, ये जो pictures में ऐसी lifestyle देखते हैं, whether it is for them, शायद वो पैसे से थोड़ी बहुत ऐसी लाइफस्टाइल आ जाए. The rural people hope that city money will improve their lives. They long for a life that resembles the promises of cinema and politics. However, politicians and people in power do not fulfill these promises. The speaker expresses deep sympathy for these silent suffering people. Now, basically, it's a symbolic representation. How this man looks very happy and promising money to these people. However, he has these evilish desires like all these people represented. So now, the government and social service agencies propose relocating rural people to new villages. These villages are close to modern conveniences like theaters and stores. The plan intends to keep the rural people dependent and passive. The phrase greedy good doers implies that these agencies claim to help, but they actually exploit them. The people are controlled, manipulated, deprived of independent thinking. The villagers, they desperately wait for someone to stop and buy something. They listen for the sound of cars, brakes, hoping for a customer. However, most travelers ignore them or stop only for their own convenience. One car turns into their yard just to reverse a direction, another to ask the direction, another to ask if they sell fuel, which they do not. The rural people's struggles make the poet feels unbearable pain. He contemplates, सोचता है, whether it would be better to end their suffering in one stroke. The next day उसको realize होता है that's not a logical solution. So he wants to end somebody to come and end his sorrow. The poem ends on a note of deep sorrow and unresolved frustration. Note जो tone है वो pessimistic, sad, not hopeful, hopeless tone. Unresolved frustration वो solve नहीं हुआ है, but the poet wants a solution. Now, difference between these two: hardworking, the rural people. First, I'll read the rural people: hardworking but poor, hopeful but constantly disappointed. They long for better life promised by urban wealth and politics. They depend on city travelers for survival. They struggle against the false kindness of authorities. तो ये जो है इनके traits है. आप कैसे फिगर आउट करोगे जब आप पोम पढ़ते हो? तो यू नीड टू फिगर आउट कि आपको इनके बारे में क्या लग रहा है. व्हाट इज इट दैट यू थिंक? दे आर हार्ड वर्किंग बिकॉज इतने सारे जो प्रोड्यूस है एवरी डे टू हैव दैट थिंग set up and expect people to come by. That's hard working. They are poor, hopeful, but constantly disappointed. Coming to city travelers, they are wealthy but indifferent. Indifferent कौन होता है जिसको मतलब नहीं है? He's least bothered, least affected. Prioritize their convenience over helping the rural people. Some are outright dismissive while others are oblivious. कि कुछ तो ऐसे लोग होते हैं जो knowing their condition they are dismissive कि उनको फर्क नहीं पड़ता, while some जो हैं they are not known, they do not know their condition, they do not know what is happening to them. They symbolize the urban elite who exploit rural people. The government and social agencies, they pretend to, I'll read from इनके कैरेक्टर ट्रेट्स क्या है, गवर्नमेंट और सोशल जो मेंशन किया हुआ है, हु प्रॉमिस देम गुड लाइफ, उनके ट्रेट्स क्या है? दे प्रिटेंड टू हेल्प बट एक्चुअली कंट्रोल एंड सप्रेस, exploit rural people under the guise of development. They make false promises of better life. The poet, what are his character traits? He observes the struggle with deep sympathy. He feels anger and helplessness at the rural people's suffering. He contemplates the idea of ending their misery, and then he questions his own emotions and reactions. Keywords: roadside stand. It's a small shop set up by rural people to sell goods. City money kya hai? It symbolizes economic disparity between rural and urban areas. Polished traffic represents the wealthy people who are passing by. Greedy good doers. ये जो politicians हैं जो झूठे वादे करते हैं, they are greedy good doers. Squeal of brakes, meaning the villagers villagers hope for them to stop and buy their products. Moving pictures promise the glamorous and unrealistic promise for a better life. Beneficence, beast of prey, contradiction, referring to people who are beneficent, who are promising to be beneficent, but they are really ruthless. Lift of spirit, the happiness, the relief that rural people long for, ये absolutely missing है. Okay, let's come to the literary device. Metaphor, comparing two things without use of as and like. The flower of the cities from sinking and withering faint. It compares flower of the cities kya hai? It compares the prosperity, the business, the growth of the city. What supports the growth? So the flower kya hai? Flower is the growth and the business of the cities. That's the comparison. Alliteration, repetition of sound, polished traffic pass. The per sound, there are more. So my suggestion would be learn how these poetic devices work. तो figure out करना कई बार बहुत सारे, because there are too many, we don't pick up a lot, but then while I'm reading through I'll help you identify. Personification का क्या मतलब है? Human traits जब non human things को देते हैं, that's called personification. So the polished traffic passed with a mind ahead. The traffic having a mind ahead, having no regard for these people. तो बिकॉज ट्रैफिक को ऐसा दे रहे हैं, ऑल्सो ट्रांसफर्ड एपिथेट है, क्योंकि ये ट्रैफिक को नहीं बोल रहे हैं, ये उन लोगों को जो who are a part of this traffic, उनको बोल रहे हैं. However, when I say this, they pass with a mind ahead, they pass without caring for these people, then it's a personification. Imagery क्या होता है? जब हम किसी चीज को पढ़ते हैं और हमारे दिमाग में एक इमेज बन जाता है. तो crook necked golden squash with silver warts, that's an imagery. While reading it, there's an image that's created of how it would look like. Symbolism. Objects having deeper meaning are called symbolism. Greedy, good doers, beneficent, beasts of prey. What do they symbolize? They symbolize politicians, bureaucrats in power. Oxymoron, two opposite words used together. Beneficent, beasts of prey. Beneficent, matlab kya? Helping. Somebody who is offering help, uske साथ beast of prey जो word use हुआ है, it shows two different ideas. So that is oxymoronic. Enjambment, जब line एक दूसरे में without completing, जब एक line खत्म होने के बाद ही, वैसे हम पढ़ते तो एक लाइन एक आइडिया खत्म होता है, देन वी स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द सेकंड लाइन, बट वो जब आइडिया खत्म ना होके इट रन्स इनटू अनदर लाइन, दैट्स कॉल्ड एंजाममेंट. एंड आस्क फॉर सम सिटी मनी टू फील इन हैंड टू ट्राई इफ इट विल नॉट मेक आवर बीइंग एक्सपैंड. द थॉट फ्लोज फ्रॉम वन आइडिया एंड गोज टू अनदर, तो दैट इज एंजाममेंट. कॉन्ट्रास्ट, अगेन टू ऑपोजिट आइडियाज, आइडियोलॉजीज को जब अलग अलग रखा है. द पॉलिश ट्रैफिक पास, द ट्रस्टिंग सोरो ऑफ व्हाट इज अनसेड. कॉन्ट्रास्ट बिटवीन सिटी पीपल, पॉलिश ट्रैफिक पास्ट, और ट्रस्टिंग सोरो, ये गरीब लोग जो हैं. तो two contradictory juxtaposed ideas, when they are put in sharp contrast, two ideas, that's called uh, contrast. Irony, जब मैं बोलना कुछ और चाह रही हूँ उसका मतलब कुछ और हो रहा है. That all these pitiful cane are to be bought out and mercifully gathered in. It is ironic क्योंकि ये जो वादे कर रहे हैं, it's not meant to be kept. Auditory imagery, जब सुनाई, जब when you're reading something and it creates a sound in your head, that's called auditory imagery. For the squeal of brakes, जैसे हम पढ़ते हैं squeal of brake, we imagine, that sound is imagined. So that's ऑडिटरी इमेजरी. द साउंड ऑफ स्टॉपिंग कार, तो गाड़ी जब रुकती है और उसका जो साउंड होता है, दैट्स इमेजिन. Juxtaposition, again two contradictory ideas, two contrasting ideas side by side. The rural roadside stand is placed beside a busy highway with indifferent urban travelers. Hyperbole, किसी बात को बढ़ा चढ़ा के कहना is hyperbole. To put these people at one stroke out of their pain, it's a hyperbole from the poet's side, saying that कोई आए और एक ही बार में इनके दुख दूर कर दे, which is not possible practically. So that's about it. I hope you benefited out of this chapter. If there's a doubt, please do connect with me. Thank you so much. Bye bye.